Right, for any of you suffering from sleep apnea, listen up. There could be a promising new treatment out there for you.
The drug maker, Eli Lilly, says that its obesity drug can provide relief to some people who stop breathing during sleep. Roughly 20 million Americans suffer from sleep apnea. The most common treatment is a CPAP machine, which keeps your breathing airways open during sleep.
Let's bring in Gina Kolata. She's a medical reporter for the New York Times, and she covered this in her recent article. It's great to have you with us, Gina. How exactly, just connect the dots for us, could an obesity drug help with these really serious sleep issues?
Well, the reason these people have sleep apnea is that they have obesity, and what happens is fat accumulates in their tongue and in their airway. So their airway is smaller because of the fat, and their tongue is larger. So when they fall asleep, they don't have the muscle control they have when they're awake, and their tongue slides back into their throat. So what the obesity drug does, no surprise, is it gets rid of fat. It gets rid of fat in the tongue and in the airways. So after a year on the obesity drug, people lost about 20% of their weight, and the number of apnea episodes was reduced by about 30 an hour. Now, people in this trial had 15 or more episodes an hour. So for some people, they may have gotten rid of their episodes altogether. So it's a treatment that really is just relying on getting rid of the cause instead of treating the symptoms. The CPAP machine you mentioned, that treats the symptoms. This treats the cause. So it's different in that way.
Gina, I want to ask you a little bit more about that, because obviously there are lots of people who are not overweight who suffer from sleep apnea. It sounds like from what you're telling us that this particular drug and the study doesn't really apply to them. Is that true? Or might it also be effective for people who have normal weight?
I asked the company that, and they said that would require another study. They didn't study people of normal weight. Many people of normal weight who have sleep apnea have other things like a severely receding jaw. I mean, there's a reason. There's usually a mechanical reason why somebody stops breathing at night. Or some of them have a very different thing, which is called central apnea, and that's where your brain doesn't signal you to breathe when you're sleeping. And for them, CPAP works, but weight loss isn't going to do anything because it has nothing to do with their weight.
And so I'm wondering, because people have had success with the CPAP machine, as you say, that treats the symptom, not the cause. Are there other efforts to treat the cause? And are there more studies to be done on what else can treat people?
There's never been a treatment that's been approved that actually treats the cause. There are a couple of drugs that are being tested now, but at this point, there is nothing that treats the cause except possibly this Lilly drug, which makes people lose the fat that's accumulated in their tongue and in their throat.
Gina, real quick, obviously this is promising research, but as you say in your report, it has not been peer reviewed. It hasn't been published necessarily. How promising is this really? How far away are we from this actually rendering support to people who fit in that category?
Well, Lilly is very confident. They're applying to regulatory agencies, including the FDA, around the world for approval to put sleep apnea on the label as an indication. They have to announce their results when they get them because it can affect their stock price. But they're going to publish more detailed results in June, I think, when there's an American Diabetes Association meeting. In the meantime, they are applying to the FDA. They're getting their they're getting their submission ready,
right,
so that they can try to get their label to say sleep apnea.
All right.
And that way they're hoping his insurers would pay for it.
Gina,
Kolata, thank you.